680's Richard Southern joins us. And Richard, as we heard from Tammy, it is International Women's Day, but it's also being promoted as a day without women, an event created to call attention to the economic injustices women continue to face. Now, you've been looking at what a day without women would actually mean to our economy.
Yeah, let's just say all women went on strike. What would happen, Francis? Well, first off, almost half of the Canadian workforce would just disappear. Women account for 47.3% of all Canadian workers. A lot of children wouldn't learn anything. Just over 65% of teachers are women. And let's look at the industries that would be devastated. 96% of all dental hygienists are women. 91% of all registered nurses. 84% of cashiers. 60% of accountants and 53% of all pharmacists. The household chores, they wouldn't get done, Francis, although men are doing a bit more. 70% of household chores are still completed by women. Most volunteers wouldn't show up for duty. It's been found that most non-paid volunteers are women. And finally, university classes would be empty. 60% of all Canadian graduates last year were women. And CityNews would be off the air, Francis. Our director, Katia, would just fade to black and you and I would be gone.
Absolutely. Now, you know, what's very disturbing is that the gender pay gap still very much exists in Canada.
Sure does. It has shrank a little bit in recent years, but Stats Canada out on this International Women's Day informing us that Canadian women earn 87 cents or earned 87 cents for every hour for every dollar men made in 2015. 87 cents on the dollar. Maybe we should be more like Iceland. It announced today, Francis, that it will become the first country in the world to make employers prove that they offer equal pay regardless of gender, ethnicity, sexuality, or nationality.
That is amazing. Very progressive. Let's talk about our Canadian dollar now, because it's fallen to the lowest level of the year just in time for March break vacations.
Yeah, not good timing, and it's been a steady slide. We were talking about this earlier in the week. The loonie today down to 74.11 cents U.S. So it takes $1.35 Canadian to buy $1 US before they tack on all the service charges. As you say, lowest of the year, and it comes as oil pulled back. We saw a big, almost $3 drop for oil today, and the U.S. dollar spiking with the states set to hike interest rates. So it's kind of this perfect storm pushing the loonie lower, and it looks like the Canuck Buck Francis could be in for further losses in the coming weeks. As you say, not great timing for all those travelers.
You know, I'm kind of struggling with this next story because Siri can very soon do our banking. Well, one particular Canadian bank, I don't know. Do I want Siri doing my banking?
It's too easy. Yeah, maybe too easy to make mistakes. So RBC, Royal Bank of Canada, becoming the first Canadian bank to let its customers e-transfer money simply by asking Siri, the Apple digital assistant. It's a move which the bank says will help it position itself in the growing mobile payment sector. Francis, banks want to be here. 72% of Canadians say mobile banking is how they do their primarily all their banking. I wanted to give this a try. I owe Talbot a few bucks for lunch last week.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I'll ask Siri. Siri, can you transfer 20 bucks to Talbot for me, please?
I'm sorry, Richard. There are no funds available. Perhaps you can borrow a few bucks off of Francis.
What? Oh, what do you say? A couple of bucks, Francis?
All right.
Spare a few?
Couple bucks.
I'm good for it. I'm good for it.
Are
Trust
you?
me. It's payday on Friday. I'm good for it.
All right. We'll see.
Are you a good man?
I'll give Talbot the money. So
I didn't really want to pay him anyways.
Qatar Airways has unveiled a revolutionary new business class. I'm going to borrow money from you to go in this.
Oh, boy, we need a lot. You and I like these sort of things. I know this, Francis. And this is something else. Qatar Airlines, it's called the Q Suite, their new business class product. What makes it different from the other business classes out there is that the suites are customizable. They can be conjoined to create the first ever double bed in business class. And the panels in between the seats can also be removed, so you can create a table of four. You can have four people facing each other. Never before in business class. High-end finishes as well, like Italian leather seats. They're going to start rolling this out in June. We got to go try it for work, do a story on this.
Well, I'm just thinking, if you really like that stranger next to you, then, you know, turn into a double bed and...
Don't know if I like you that much, Francis, but we'll try out the leather seats.
All right. Thank you, Richard.
Thanks.